As we embark on today's journey together, I want us to take note of something. I want us to know that success is not about what you accomplish in your life. It is about what you inspire others to do. It is about making a difference in the lives of others, of those around you, and leaving a legacy that lasts far beyond your time on this earth. And with that, I say a very good morning to you, and you're welcome to another edition of From the Newspaper, streaming live from MFM Radio and TV studio, right here in the ancient city of Ibadan, where we get to set the agenda and project the truth. My name is MOBOLAJI KAREEM, and From the Newspapers is that program where I get to walk you through the headlines that made it to our 5 major Nigerian daily newspapers and also the details of the headlines. And of course, you can connect with us live on Facebook at MFM TV. Kindly like, leave a comment and share. And also, to be part of this conversation, you can call our studio line 0815-919-4247.
Audio Jungle.
And you know, the very first thing I do before I get into the news every morning is to give you the weather forecast report for the 3 major cities in Nigeria: the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the commercial city of Lagos, and the vibrant city of Ibadan, where we are transmitting live from. But this morning, I will be starting with Ibadan. 10 a.m. in Ibadan this morning, we have a mostly sunny weather, and the weather temperature is 29 degrees. 11 a.m. the weather is partly sunny, and the weather temperature is 31 degrees Celsius. 12 p.m. we have intermittent cloud. 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. intermittent cloud with 36 degrees Celsius. 4 p.m. partly sunny with 36 degrees Celsius. 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. the weather is now mostly clear with 30 degrees Celsius. 8 p.m., 9 p.m. up until 11 p.m. we have a partly cloudy weather, and the weather temperature is 26 degrees Celsius. City of Lagos for today. Then 10 a.m. the weather is mostly sunny, and the weather temperature is 29 degrees. 11 a.m. we have a very partly sunny weather, and the weather temperature is 30 degrees. 12 p.m., 1 p.m. up until 3 p.m. the weather is partly sunny, and the weather temperature is 34 degrees Celsius. 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. the weather is still mostly sunny, and the weather temperature is 31 degrees. 7 p.m. the weather is now mostly clear with 31 degrees Celsius. 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. up until 11 p.m. we have a mostly cloudy weather, and the weather temperature is 29 degrees Celsius. Moving to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, then 10 a.m. the weather temperature is 28 degrees, and we have intermittent cloud. 11 a.m. the same thing. 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m. up until 4 p.m. we have intermittent cloud, and the weather temperature is 34 degrees. 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. we now have a mostly cloudy weather, and the weather temperature is 28 degrees Celsius. 8 p.m., 9 p.m. up until 11 p.m. the weather is still mostly cloudy with 26 degrees Celsius.
Audio Jungle.
That's about the weather forecast report for the 3 major cities in Nigeria for today. Okay, so with that, we'll move to the next segment this morning, which is the headlines that made it to our 5 major Nigerian daily newspaper. And this morning, I'll be starting with the Punch newspaper. And the lead story says, EFCC may prosecute 300 forex racketeers. And this headline came along with 2 riders, and the first one says, EFCC gets orders to freeze 300 accounts, says one account transacted $15 billion illegally. And the second rider says, Naira would have crashed massively if 300 accounts were not frozen, says chairman. And the details of these stories on page 2 of the Punch newspaper for this morning. Punch newspaper for this morning edition, I have a couple of headlines, and the first one says, Air Nigeria, Sirika goes on trial for 8 billion naira fraud, and the details of these stories on page 30 of the Punch newspaper. Another headline this morning says, Dangote drops diesel to 940 naira. Station sells 1,400 naira, and the details of this story is on page 21 of the Punch newspaper. CBN releases more dollars as naira weakened to 1,300 naira per dollar, and the details of this story is on page 23 of the Punch newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
Another headline on the Punch newspaper for this morning is on page 27, and the headline says, Bullying, Abuja school shot, victim may sue. Yoruba Nation, Afenifere slams Akintoye and Igboho, and the details of this story is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
Lautech students seek justice after cop allegedly kills coppers, and the details of this story is on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper for this morning. And the last headline on the Punch newspaper for this morning edition is on page 7, and the headline says 50,000 schools listed for federal government safe school scheme, and the details of this story is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Moving on to the next newspaper this morning is the Vanguard newspaper, and the lead story says, Dangote refinery port diesel jet A1 prices to 9,400 naira and 940 naira and 980 naira. And the details to that story is on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. And above the Vanguard newspaper for this morning, I have a headline which says CBN slashes BDC exchange rate to 1,036 naira per dollar, and the details of this story is on page 20 of the Vanguard newspaper. Another headline on page 8 says, We ensure Yaya Bello faces trial no matter what it takes, says EFCC's chairman, and the details of this story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. British international school shot over bullying of student, and the details of this story is on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper for this morning.
Audio Jungle.
And the last headline on the Vanguard newspaper for this morning is on sports, and the headline says NFL board delays appointment of Super Eagles coach, and the details of this story is on page 37 of the Vanguard newspaper. The next newspaper this morning is the Nation newspaper, and the lead story says EFCC arrests Sirika, slams Emefiele with fresh charges, and the details of this story is on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. And above the Nation newspaper for this morning, I have a headline which says CBN sells dollar to BDCs at 1,021 naira in fresh injection, and the details of this story is on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. Ekiti excited over NERC's nod to generate power, government take charges, and the details of this story is on page 29 of the Nation newspaper. seeks cancellation as Ododo submits Ondo APC report, and page 4 has the details to this story. Federal government appoints new consuls general for US, Germany, China, Dubai, and others, and the details to these stories on page 2 of the Nation newspaper for this morning. Another headlines on page 29 of the Nation newspaper for this morning, and the headline says, "My view on state police personnel," says IG Egbetokun. And the next newspaper this morning is the Guardian newspaper, and the major headline here says, "Fraud allegations and money laundering. EFCC intensifies manhunt for Bello, detains Sirika, freezes 300 account," and the details to these stories on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Blackouts cripples business activities in Taraba, Gombe, and Adamawa State, and the analysis to these stories on page 20 of the Guardian newspaper. CBN to sell $16 million to BDC at 1,021 naira per dollar amid fresh panic in forex market, and the details to these stories on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper for this morning. Still on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper, another headline here says, "Ganduje summons Aiyedatiwa, 15 gubernatorial aspirant over Ondo APC primary outreach," and the details of this headline still on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. NSIB, NCAA probe Dana Hair runway incident in Lagos, and the details of this story is still on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper for this morning.
Audio Jungle.
And the last headline on the Guardian newspaper for this morning is on page 3, and the headline says, "Less than 20% of Nigerians access 12 hours power daily," and the details of this story is still on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
Moving on to the last newspaper for this morning is the Nigerian Tribune, and the major headline here says, "EFCC exposes Bello, grills Sirika, freezes 300 account," and the details of these headlines on pages 4 and 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And above the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, I have a couple of headlines, and the first one says, "CBN says dollars to BDCs as 1,021 naira per $1, and the details of these stories on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. Still on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for this morning, again Dangote crashes diesel, aviation fall, prices to 940 naira and 980 naira.
Audio Jungle.
Amid protests, petitions, Ododo submits report of Ondo APC primary. NWC will ratify Aiyedatiwa's candidate, Ganduje assures, and the details with these headlines on pages 3 and 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Still on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, another headline here says, Fubara reshuffles Rivers cabinet, and the details with this story stay on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And the last headline of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for this morning edition is on page 28. And the headline says, movement to be restricted for your local government pool. Okay, so that's that about the headlines that made it to our 5 major Nigerian daily newspaper for this morning edition. And like I used to say, you can track any of this headline that caught your attention this morning. And with that, we'd like to go on a short commercial break. When I come back, I'll dive straight into the details of the headlines for this morning.
KAREEM FM, setting the agenda and projecting the truth. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi gbà mí, gbogbo àwọn ọ̀lẹ́kùn ilé mi ló ti dógùn, kódà gbogbo àwọn táìsì tí ń bẹ nílé mi kò lówó lójúmọ́.
Níbo lo ti rà á?
Ṣé bí lórí àwọn kan tí ń tà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀?
O ti sanwó gbowó. Ṣé o ti gbọ́n pa ilé ìtajà Starlam's Homes Wear Enterprise? Ó kúrò nígbàrọ̀ gùdù. Eléyìí tó dojúkọ ilé ìfowópamọ́ Keystone Bank agbègbè Àbáyọ̀mí Ìwòrò nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. Báwo lẹ ṣe fẹ́ sí? Àwọn ilẹ̀kùn ayẹta, àwọn táìsì tí ó gbóhùn iyì àti ẹwà bá ilé, àwọn àga omi lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan, roofing sheet eléyìí tí ó gbé àwòrán ilé jáde àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Gbogbo rẹ̀ ló wà lójú kan náà lọ́dọ̀ Starlam's Homes Wear Enterprise fún gbogbo kọ́lékọ́lé àti àgbàlékọ́. Gbogbo àwọn ohun èlò ilé eléyìí tí ó sọ ilé rẹ̀ di àwòdámi ẹnu ọ̀dọ̀ Starlam's Homes Wear Enterprise ni ó yẹ àkàsí yìí. Ẹ pè sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 0708 760 5119 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 0708 760 5119. Starlam's Homes Wear Enterprise fojúlówó àwọn èròjà ilé tó ní òun wò lójú. Tọ́ni gbogbo ọ̀yà ni ó mọ̀ pera rẹ̀ lódù. Bó bá jẹ́ níbi tí kábánira mọ́tò láti òkè òkun tàbí o fẹ́ ra ojúlówó mọ́tò ilé tí ó já lálòpẹ́, iléeṣẹ́ mọ́tò Onabis Automobile òní oyè àkànṣí eléyìí tó kalẹ̀ sí kìlómítà 8 Old Ife Road àdójúkọ ilé ìtajà àgbàlódé Brent sọ́ọ̀mì nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. Bóyá ẹ̀yin fẹ́ ra mọ́tò tàbí ẹ fẹ́ gbé mọ́tò ránṣẹ́ láti ilẹ̀ òkèrè sórílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà, kódà orí ọ̀fẹ́ wà láti bá yín ṣe àmójútó, láti bá yín ṣe àyẹ̀wò sí mọ́tò yín. Iléeṣẹ́ Onabis Automobile òun gẹ́gẹ́ ni mò ń pè níyàn o. Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọn ni 0803 371 0636 0803 371 0636. Onabis Automobile. Boom 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 boom.
Èmi èjìrí ọ̀kí ló ń kéde léyìí sí gbogbo etí ọmọ aráyé pátápátá. Ẹjẹ́ bá FM dòwò pọ̀ ká lè sórí ire nìtọ́rẹ́ nìtọ́ bá ń fẹ́ lélẹ́dùmarè máa fẹ́.
Tọ́ni gbogbo ọ̀yà ni ó máa pera rẹ̀ lódù.
FM fún ìdálárayá, ètò àsìkò, ìkọ́nilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìgbà gbogbo. FM ní kẹ́ ẹ máa gbọ́, ẹ má gbé kúrò níbẹ̀ nígbà gbogbo. Ẹni tó bá rí jó tí ò jó, ẹni tó bá ráyọ̀ tí ò yọ̀, ọjọ́ tí ò pẹ́ ní ó sunra rẹ̀ láwọ̀ ara. AFM ló ní kẹ́ẹ̀rí jó kẹ́ẹ̀jó kẹ́ẹ̀rájọ̀ kẹ́ẹ̀sì máa yọ. AFM ni ẹ máa gbọ́ ni ẹ máa wò nígbà gbogbo.
AIM FM, setting the agenda and projecting the truth.
Okay, so welcome back from that short commercial break. And in case you're just joining us, this is from the newspapers, where we get to walk you through the headlines that made it to our 5 major Nigerian dailies newspaper and also the details of the headlines. And here we are in the last segment of the program, which is the details of the headlines. And the very first story I have this morning is the headline that says Yaya Bello used Kogi $720,000 for child's tuition, says the FCC chairman. And here's the details to this story. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukoyede, claimed on Tuesday that investigation by the Anti-Graft Agency revealed that the former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, reduced $720,000 from the state's covers to pay his child's school fees. Olukoyede spoke with editors, bureau chief and media executive at the EFCC headquarters Jabi Abuja on Tuesday, amid the raging controversy and counter claims between the EFCC and the ex-governor. The EFCC chairman said he has personally put a call through to Bello, inviting him to clear the air on the issues, but he refused to honor invitations. Bello is insisting that the attempt by the EFCC to arrest and prosecute him for an alleged 80.2 billion naira fraud was in violation of the February 6 order of the Federal High Court in Lokoja, restraining the Anti-Graft Agency. He also noted that though the EFCC has appealed the court, he could not be arrested or arraigned until the order has been lifted. Following a failed attempt to arrest him in his Abuja residence last week Wednesday, and the ex-governor absent from the Federal High Court where he was scheduled to be arraigned last Thursday, the EFCC declared him wanted. This morning says Finance Ministry recovered 57 billion naira from MDA's debt, says director, and here's the details to this story. The Federal Ministry of Finance has recovered 57 billion naira from the 5.2 trillion naira debt owed by ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government. The Director of Special Project Federal Ministry of Finance, Aisha Omar, discussed this in Enugu on Tuesday during a workshop on the federal government debt recovery drive through the Project Lighthouse program for the Southeast Zone. Declaring the event open, Omar, represented by the Deputy Director of Special Projects in the Ministry, Mrs. Bridget Moloku, revealed that the debt came to the spotlight from the data aggregated from over 5,000 debtors across more than 93 MDAs. Though she claimed that more recoveries had been made, she could however not provide the data. Oluku said the ministry also received refund from companies that failed to deliver on projects for which payment had been made. Other refunds, according to her, were unpaid credit facilities granted to both corporate entities and individuals by the Bank of Industry and Bank of Agriculture.
Audio Jungle.
Story this morning says Lagos recorded 111 road crashes in 3 months, says FRSC. And here's the details to this story. The Lagos Sector Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps says it recorded 111 road crashes in the first quarter of 2024. The Sector Commander Babatunde Farinloye told the newspaper on Tuesday in Lagos that 535 people were involved in the road crashes, out of the 17 died within the period under review. He also said we had a total of 179 casualties, which comprised 162 injured persons and 17 dead. A total of 111 cases were recorded, 14 were fatal, 16 serious and 32 minor cases. The sector commander also noted that 98 commercial vehicles, 69 owned by individuals and 2 government vehicles were involved in the accident. This morning is the update of the Kwara State beef poisoning, and here is the update of this story. The Kwara State government has buried unconfiscated meat from the alleged poisonous cow meat for slaughter and sale for public consumption. Reports revealed that the contaminated cow beef were buried around the Kwara State College of Arabic and Islamic Legal Studies in Ilorin, the state's capital. This follows several measures already put in place by the government to prevent meat sellers and the residents from consuming the meat from the contaminated animals. Also, in a statement released by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mrs. Funke Shukoya, the state government, through the collaborative effort of the Ministries of Agriculture, Health, Environment and the State Environmental Protection Agency, in partnership with other concerned stakeholders, including the Yaloja of Mandete Market, all agreed to suspend slaughtering activities for 3 days, beginning from Monday, to allow the proper fumigation of the slaughter slabs against any residual effect. Another story this morning is the headline that says, Ogun seals 3 religious centers for noise pollution, and here's the details to this story. The Ogun State government has sealed 3 religious centers for contravening its law on noise pollution and defying the government's repeated orders on pollution. The 3 worship centers are Christ Apostolic Church in Itedu Alafia Community, Ambassador of Truth Assembly International in Olorunseye Avenue, and Salvation Ministry, Kuforiji Olubi Drive, Adigbe, GRA, all in Abeokuta State. The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Environmental Compliance and Enforcement, Farouk Akuntude, who disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday, said all 3 churches were sealed after several warnings and dialogue with them to stop the noise pollution emanating from their worship centers proved abortive. Akuntude said the Christ Apostolic Church, Bogumi, was fond of holding vigils with his loudspeaker placed outside his premises at night, thereby disturbing the peace of its immediate community. EFCC freezes 300 forex accounts to prevent further naira depreciation, says Ulukoyede, and here's the details to this story. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission Chairman Ola Olukoyede has revealed that the agency has frozen 300 illegal forex trading accounts in order to curb the depreciation of the naira. He disclosed this on Tuesday, 23rd April 2024, at an interactive session with journalists in Abuja. He said the trading account termed P2P is an illicit financial trading scheme which has posed a several threat to the stability of naira. Olukoyede further emphasized that if left unchecked, the illicit trading would impose significant damage on the foreign exchange market, worsening the depreciation of the naira. He also noted that over 300 accounts in illicit forex trading that would have led to another crash in the next 1 week if we have not moved in quickly. EFCC to arraign Emefiele for allegedly printing 684.5 million naira notes with $18.9 billion. And here's the details of this story. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission is set to arraign former Central Bank of Nigerian Governor Godwin Emefiele for allegedly printing 684 million naira worth of notes with 18.9 billion naira. In the French 4-count charges filed against him on Thursday, The EFCC alleged that Emefiele violated the law with the intent to cause harm to the public during the execution of the Naira swap policy under the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. Additionally, the anti-graft agency accused Emefiele of unlawfully authorizing the withdrawal of 124 billion naira from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation. Emefiele is scheduled to appear before Justice Mariam Aneni of the FCT High Court in Abuja on April 30 to face these charges.
Audio Jungle.
So let's take this one more story before we go on a short commercial break. Lautech introduces mass communication and 5 others degree program, and here's the details of this story. The acting Vice Chancellor of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, Oyo State, Professor Razak Kalilu, has announced the introduction of an additional 6 new degree program for the institution. Kalilu made this note while addressing the congregation at the grand finale of the 16th convocation ceremony of the university held inside the Great Hall of the institution in Ogbomoso on Tuesday. He said that the academic outlook of this institution was rapidly changing its bid to fulfill the mandate of the university and the vision of its visitor, Governor Seyi Makinde. He further stated that all 7 newly introduced programs have recently gone through resource verification in March this year towards the National Universities Commission approval. In his statement, he said, "We hope to admit students for this program in this current academic session as soon as we receive the clearance from the NUC." And with that, we'd like to go on a short commercial break. When I come back, I will continue from the details of the airlines.
AIM FM, setting the agenda and projecting the truth.
MFM oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ òjò mọ́ mi àtọkùnrin wa àtobìnrin wa ẹ̀lẹ́ o gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin wa pẹ̀lẹ́ o gbogbo ẹ̀yin obìnrin wa pẹ̀lẹ́ o MFM oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin wa pẹ̀lẹ́ o MFM oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ oníkẹ́mọ́ wò lórí Instagram lórí Facebook oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ òjòmọ́ mi ẹ̀wà wọlé sẹ́nu ọ̀pánàmá ẹ̀wà wọlé sísè láwùjọ òjò gbogbo ìkànnà gbé wákẹ́ gbogbo eré ládùnládùn gbogbo tó lóyún tó bá ronú tó pàrọ̀lù tì MFM oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ olólùfẹ́ mi ẹ̀yọ́ rẹ̀ wá ọkọ sọ fúnyàwó rẹ̀ MFM oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ ọjọ́gbọ́n ni MFM.
gbogbo náà gbogbo bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ ní gbọ́ tọba wọn fẹ́ gbọ́ mi dáadáa tọ́sí fẹ́ máa rí wà wò dáadáa MFM and TV oníkọ́ lọ tọba ti débẹ̀ gbogbo bí kíbi lórí social media wà bá wọn pàdé gbó májè tán májè kíni kò gbé ọ̀tí àlàyé o tèmi ni ó ṣe o ìdí mo sọ yìí òní ọgbọ́ MFM and TV iléeṣẹ́ àbá àjẹjẹ́ àgbà ló kọ́ mi o.
MFM fún ìdálárayá ètò àsìkò ìkọ́nilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìgbà gbogbo MFM ní kẹ́ ẹ máa gbọ́ ẹ má gbé kúrò níbẹ̀ nígbà gbogbo ẹni tó bá rí jó tí ò jò ẹni tó bá ráyọ̀ tí ò yọ̀ ọjọ́ tí ò pẹ́ ní ó sunra rẹ̀ láwọ̀ ara MFM ló ní kẹ́ ẹ rí jó kẹ́ ẹ jó kẹ́ ẹ ráyọ̀ kẹ́ ẹ sì máa yọ̀ MFM ni ẹ máa gbọ́ ni ẹ máa wò nígbà gbogbo.
MFM TV ẹ máa gbọ́ déédéé olóde ẹ̀ bá pàrọ̀ wà pọ̀ tọ́pọ̀ sàṣàpọ̀ lè tọ́pa lẹ́sọ̀dẹ̀ ibi tí wọ́n tẹ̀lé ọ̀dẹ̀ láyé o orúkọ tèmi ni orí adéwẹ̀ ní ti.
ọ̀rẹ́ mi gbà mí gbogbo àwọn ọ̀lẹ̀kùn ilé mi ló ti dógùn kódà gbogbo àwọn táìsì tí ń bẹ nílé mi pẹ̀lú wò lójúmọ́.
níbo lo ti rà á.
ṣé bí lọ́dọ̀ àwọn kan ti ń tàlẹ́ gbọ́n.
ha o ti sanwó gbowó ṣé o ti gbọ́n pa ilé ìtajà Starlams Homes Wear Enterprise ó kúrò nígbàrọ̀ gùdù eléyìí tó dojúkọ ilé ìfowópamọ́ Kingston Bank agbègbè Àbáyọ̀mí Ìwòrò nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. báwo lẹ ṣe fẹ́ sí àwọn ilẹ̀kùn ayẹta àwọn táìsì tí ó gbohun iyì àti ẹwà bá ilé àwọn àga omi lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan roofing sheet eléyìí tí ó gbé àwòrán ilé jáde àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ gbogbo rẹ̀ ló wà lójú kan náà lọ́dọ̀ Starlams Homes Wear Enterprise fún gbogbo kọ́lékọ́lé àti àgbàlékọ́ gbogbo àwọn ohun èlò ilé eléyìí tí ó sọ ilé rẹ di àwòdámi ẹnu ọ̀dọ̀ Starlams Homes Wear Enterprise ni ó yẹ àkàsí yìí ẹ pè sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 0708-760-5119 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 0708-760-5119 Starlams Homes Wear Enterprise fojú lówó àwọn èròjà ilé tó ní òun wò lójú.
pẹ̀lú YouTube àti MFM TV ilé ìtura díẹ̀ sàwọ́ tán lápẹ́tẹ́ nílùú Ìbàdàn lákàlẹ̀ tí ó fún ìpolówó ọjà iléeṣẹ́ yìí ẹ lè pè wá sórí nọ́mbà wọn yìí o 081591942 àti 47 ẹ tún lè pè wá sórí aago yìí o 080224841 pẹ̀lú 24 ni ẹ pè sí o. Mọ́mí àti dádì ẹ̀tọ́wé MFM ni ẹ mọ̀ pa lójoojúmọ́ nígbà gbogbo.
MFM, setting the agenda and projecting the truth.
Welcome back from that short commercial break, and we are still on the details of the headline. And another story this morning says bullying, Abuja school shot, victim a sue. And here's the details to this story. Lead British International School Abuja, which has been in the eye of the storm over viral videos of bullying involving some of the students, has been shut for 3 days. The shutdown was ordered on Tuesday by the Minister of Women's Affairs, Uju Kennedy Oraneye. Also, the Public Relations Officer of the FCC Education Secretariat, Kabiru Musa, also confirmed that the school has been shut down by the minister.
Audio Jungle.
Another story this morning says villagers displays as brainstorm wreak havoc in Ekiti. And here's the details to this story.
Audio Jungle.
Brainstorm wreak havoc on Omo and Ijelu Ekiti, two neighboring communities in Oyo local government area of Ekiti state, blowing up roofs, destroying the walls of some buildings, and dislodging no fewer than 100 residents in the process. Most affected were churches, educational institutions, residential buildings, including the palace of Elejelu of Ijelu Ekiti, Oba Isaac Ajayi Adetoyinbo, The Ekiti State Governor, Biodun Yebanji, who expressed sadness over the devastating effects of the stormy rainfall in the town on Sunday, sympathized with the victim, assuring them that the state government will keep steps to alleviate their sufferings. Oyebanji, represented by the Deputy Governor, Mrs. Monisade Afuye, who spoke on Tuesday while inspecting the level of damage done to the structure, said that he was elated that nobody died or sustained serious injuries during the rainstorm. The Deputy Governor also counseled the residents to undertake some palliative work on their buildings, saying some of the structures were already in a decrepit fashion and no longer habitable. Cargo International Airport to commence flight operation soon, says Abiodun, and here's the details of this story. Ogun State Governor Dr. Abiodun had disclosed that the state's Cargo International Airport in Ilison will begin scheduled and non-scheduled flights in the next few weeks. Abiodun disclosed this while speaking at the 13th Gateway International Trade Fair Breakers meeting. The chief executive officers, captain of industry, entrepreneurs, investors, and stakeholders held at the Mitros Residence GRA Abeokuta, Ogun State's capital on Tuesday. The governor noted that the approval process to get the airport running has reached an advanced stage, saying that the approval is expected in a few days. He also disclosed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the special agro-processing zone as a free trade zone. Abiodun added that his administration will soon be flagging off the Kajala Inland Container Terminal, adding that when fully operational, the terminal would allow investors situated within the state an opportunity to hook up their containers, process their raw materials, and also export their goods efficiently. Okay, so another story this morning is the update of the Ondo primary election for the APC, and here is the details of this story. Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa has appealed to the 15 aspirants who contested for the gubernatorial ticket of All Progressive Congress in the primary election held last Saturday to shed their sword. Ayedatiwa, who spoke during a thank you visitor to the state party secretariat in Akure yesterday, urged the aggrieved aspirants to also see themselves as winners. He said that all the other 13 aspirants must come together to ensure APC win the governorship election in the state, that there is need to put the party's house in order before the poll. Earlier, the chairman of the party in the state, Ade Adetimehin, said he saw Saturday's primary election as a family affair and was sure that the party would continue to remain in power for more than 2025. Meanwhile, one of the aspirants, Professor Francis Adebayo, has expressed sadness that the party's loyalists across the 203 wards in the state were prevented from the primaries. He, however, urged his supporters to remain calm. Dangote further crashes prices of diesel, aviation fuel, and here's the details to this story. In a sustainable move to ease the economic burden of Nigerians, Dangote Refinery has again announced a further reduction in the prices of diesel and aviation fuel to 940 naira and 980 naira. This marks the third major reduction in diesel price from 1,700 naira to 1,200, with a further reduction to 1,000 naira and now 940 naira, while 980 goes for a litre of aviation fuel. The new prices regime applies to customers purchasing 5 million litres and above, while consumers buying 1 million litres and above will enjoy 970 naira per litre. The head of communications at Dangote Refinery, Anthony, said the gesture is part of the company's effort to alleviate the economic challenges faced by Nigerians. He also revealed a strategic partnership with Mrs. Oil and gas stations that guarantee affordable prices across the facilities nationwide.
Jungle.
FAAN reopens Lagos Airport runway after Dana Air incident. And here's the details to this story. The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria has announced the reopening of the runway at Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos, following a temporary closure caused by Dana Airplane skiding off the runway on Tuesday. This was disclosed in a press release signed by the Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Obiageli Ora, on Wednesday. Also, according to the statement, the FAN Operation Division and the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency have jointly inspected the runway surface and deemed it fit for the resumption of operation. FAN acknowledged that the area affected by the overshot was significantly muddy, necessitating extensive cleaning efforts to restore safely. I'm glad to have come to the end of the news on MFM Radio and TV this morning. Okay, thank you for listening. My name is MOBOLAJI. KAREEM. Good morning.